When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washing washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
All across the globe, as well as you wonderful ecclesiastites. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. Monday, short week this week. It is a holiday week, Thanksgiving. Actually, I'm kind of surprised people still celebrate this day because over. Well, to be frank, I think, except for a few minority people, Thanksgiving is now a day, to most Americans, it's now a day of football and overstuffing yourself with food. Sadly, but that is true. This is what it has come down to. Commercialized holidays to the nth degree, and the ones that don't have a lot of commercial value seem to get relegated to somewhere else. I mean, let's face it, when you're talking about being the holiday between Halloween, going to get any love? Are you going to get any respect? No, you're not. And the true meaning of the holiday is going to be lost. And now, I'm watching Facebook and other places, social media, and I'm seeing memes about Thanksgiving that are just way off the mark. Thanksgiving, a holiday that's, one meme suggested Thanksgiving's a holiday that celebrates the Native Americans celebrating illegal immigrants. Well, I guess they construed pilgrims as being illegal immigrants. And another meme says that pilgrims were refugees. Well, either they're illegal immigrants or they're refugees. They're not, really can't be. Well, I suppose you could be a refugee, but a refugee is going to be invited in. I don't know, were they, I don't think the Pilgrims were really being all that persecuted. I mean, they weren't able to celebrate their religion in the way they wanted to, but I don't think they were really being persecuted. Yeah, so the Pilgrims are refugees, and Indians saved them. And there's other memes that show that, yeah, Thanksgiving is a holiday that we celebrate the invaders, the invasion of the North American continent. Now, well, are they refugees, are they illegals, or are they military invaders? And all of this kind of stuff that I see is coming from the left. So I'm just, I find it fascinating. And today I got this thing, a gentleman, one of my friends, was trying to tell me that Jesus Christ was a Palestinian. Now, I had to try to break it down to him that, Jew, or rather a Hebrew, because Judaism religion. You're a Jew or you're a Christian. Hebrew was the original Jewish people. He was not a Palestinian. In fact, there was nothing called basically back in the day when the Roman Empire ruled Israel, they called it Palestinia. And those who resided in Palestinia were Palestinians. However, that was only by decree of the Roman Empire, and the Greeks also said that. But it was in a reference to their version of the word Philistine. And we know in the Old Testament that Philistines were the enemy of Israel, the enemy of the Hebrew. So therefore, Jesus Christ could not be a Palestinian descended from Philistines. But he couldn't understand that line of logical reasoning and thinking, not to mention that Jesus Christ was from the line of King David, which means David was Hebrew, could not have been Philistine. An anti-Zionist type of mentality. They're going to believe whatever they want to believe, no matter what the facts are. Liberal, they're going to believe whatever they want to believe, no matter what the facts are. And it's hard to. I don't give up, but it's hard to try to get people to see and understand the truth, if they don't want to know the truth. Don't want to know the truth. If they only want to hang on to what they believe at the gospel, then you're not going to be able to convince them. No amount of facts, historical data, what have you, is going to change their mind. You could slap their head up, slap them upside the head with a purse full of bricks, and they're still going to say, no, it was a feather pillow. Dead serious. Serious is a hard. Man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. I don't know who first said that, but that's a beautiful saying of it. It is absolutely true. By the way, just in case I didn't give out the number, it is 603-835-3224. 603. Got a lot to cover tonight. So let's see if we can get the ball rolling. USA Today is reporting going to drop below $2 a gallon Thanksgiving. Now, I'm kind of feeling good about that, but I'm also kind of feeling bad about it. Because in reality, what it takes is we're around the mark of $2.40 to $2.50 a gallon to keep all the domestic oil pumps running and all those high-paying jobs still about $2.40 to $2.50 a gallon, depending on what state you're in and what your tax. So at $2 a gallon, got to shut down some of the North American oil wells because it can't recoup their costs at $2 a gallon. Yeah, and look, I'm willing to be fair, but I don't mind paying a fair price for. Don't get me wrong, I like the fact that the gas is $2.02 a gallon. And I understand there are some places that are already below. And if it's $1.99 and 9/10, you're not below $2. It's $2. I'm sorry, it's $2. That 1/10, no, you're $2. I mean, that is the greatest. Do people know why we have this 9/10 of a cent gasoline? It's a holdover from the early days of petrol. Now, back in the early days, when gas. You couldn't raise your price by a penny. Hammer you. So you could be at, 8 cents a gallon. Probably don't understand these numbers, but there were not. Go back into the 20s and 30s, and you were paying, let's just say you're paying 10 cents a gallon. Well, your competitor, in order to undercut you, he's going to say, well, you know what? My gas is not 10 cents a gallon, but 9. And in order to undercut them, the competitor is going to go, well, 9. Heck no. We're going to be 9.6. And that's how they did competition back then. That's how we got this stupid notion. For some reason, sometime, somewhere, it got stuck at the 9/10. Around here, it's $2 and 2.9. So it's really 2.03. That's how it came about, and for some reason, somehow, somewhere, it got stuck on the. Hasn't moved, and by today's margin, cents, nobody would notice. One gas station was at 2. Other was at 202 point. Nobody would notice the 0.7. Nobody's paying attention to the tenths of a cent, although that does add up. By the way, it's almost a full penny. Look, remember the scams that used to go around? The skimming, the penny skimming. Where there were programs that were able to skim the odd cents or fractions of a cent, the odd fraction of a cent off of certain banking transactions, and in the first thought of it, there was a movie about that too. I can't remember, but when you're first thinking about it, you're thinking, well, fraction. Nobody's going to miss it. Well, that is possibly true. Nobody's going to miss that fraction of a cent. However, when you start adding up the sheer volume of transactions under these fractions of a cent, well, those fractions all add whole dollars. And then people start missing it because they start thinking, wait a minute, we're short 100,000. We're short $1 million. How is that possible? So that fraction adds up. Doesn't even have to be 9/10. It could just be 0.25, a quarter point, quarter of a cent, 0.25 of 1 cent. Adds up like ridiculous amounts when you get enough transactions. That becomes big dollars. So think of this as a 9/10 as a small fraction. Now add that in all the gallons of gas that is sold, and you begin to see that 9/10 is not. Adds up to be very big. But anyway, USA Today is saying that the gas price is set to fall below $2 a gallon for Thanksgiving. So if the gas go out and buy a few gas cans. If you live in an area where you can, in a place that you can store gas, go out and buy a few gas cans. Because at some point, the gas is going to go back up. It cannot stay down this. Not even the Saudis can do that. So you're going to need to get out there, get my gas cans all filled up if it gets below 2. Some big, they got the 5-gallon ones too. You can buy it. Those are not really cheap, but if you got a snowblower and other equipment that you run for winter snow cleaning, or your lawnmowers and your gas-powered trimmers and all that kind of, and hedge trimmers and all that kind of. Well, that takes gas, right? So why not get the gas when it's the cheapest, even if you don't need it right now? Because, if you. The Suzuki Quad. Because they look like they do double duty. Well, they do triple duty, actually. In the summer, they're fun like a dirt bike. You can just go around mudding and get all kinds of they're able to handle it. Two, they're a workhorse because you can attach different some of these things, even from a lawnmower attachment, gangplank attachment. Farming, or in the winter, snowplow. You can put a snowplow, and some there are. I do believe there are attached snow blower attachment. Plus, so that's summertime motorcycle. The only thing it isn't is it's not a boat. Summertime motorcycle. It's a work tractor, and in the winter, it's also a snowmobile because basically those four big. Can actually float on snow. Basically, it's not going to sink very easy. So people around here I've seen on the trails, they've taken these quads out on the trails. So you got all 4 seasons covered. It's 3 machines in one, so it's probably going to end up saving a snowblower or plow, tractor for the garden, and stuff like that. So save you some money. So I think I should get. That would be fun. And it wouldn't be such an ardent task. I remember a few years ago when we came out in, was it the winter of, was it 13? Winter of 12. Yes, like wicked nor'easter. Came out to the trying to find my car and all the other cars in the apartment complex. They were literally, was it 11 or 12? Maybe it was. In any case, the cars were buried. I got pictures of them. Really, literally could not see the cars. They were literally buried in the snow. I mean, it was just. But again, we were also told that, global warming and all that kind of stuff was going to mean less snow, warmer temperatures. Well, that snowstorm was a record breaker. At time, it broke records at that time as being, some of the most snow fallen in a 24-hour period in my area at that time. Did you? I posted. I think I posted something over on Facebook. Speaking of that kind of garbage, over on the Facebook fan page. Early today, speaking of global warming, I posted an article about. Now, I did not know this. I'm not surprised by it, but evidently, because you got John Kerry and a few other people running around blaming global warming for the Syrian, all the Middle East uprising and fighting. Yes. They're blaming global warming for that. Well, did you know that they're also, that these same types of people just, they're precursors, 70, 80 years ago, blamed global warming back then for Hitler. Yes, there's articles of newspaper articles and such of these global warming fanatics back in the 30s and 40s who were blaming World War II on global warming back then. Folks, I always told you that none of this stuff is really new. And these people have been nuts for a long, long time, and that we weren't going to be able to just get rid of them willy-nilly so easily. Because they've been at this for a very long period of time. Now they're just starting to they've just gained some real power and are able to wield that power in such a way that just makes the rest of us miserable. But they've been around for a long, long time. So, the whole notion that we think that this might be a recent event, no, they've been around for, about 100 years now. Global warming nut jobs, these environmentalists, these anti-human progressives have been around for at least 100 years, spouting off their garbage, their crap, their fake science, their doctored science, their lies, their religion, their humanist religion. That's what it really is. Humanistic religion. These people think that there is no God other than themselves and that the church belongs to the government and the government is the church. And when you worship at the altar of the government. And how you honor the government is by paying them your salary in the form of taxes and fees and licenses and liking it. Because the government knows best for you. The government is the end-all be-all. The government is your life. And thus, if the government decides that there is a global warming problem, it now belongs to the government as their responsibility to take care of this global warming so we all don't burn up and die, I guess. Yes? Yeah, no, we're not going to burn up and die, but this is what they were saying. Well, I guess if we don't burn up and die first, what's going to happen is that we're just going to warm up enough that's going to piss some people off somewhere and, burn up a little bit of their crops so they get into war mode like Hitler, and then they start, attacking everybody around them because of global warming. It has nothing to do with resources of energy or anything like that, or one government thinking that they're bigger than the other government and better than the other government, or one government thinking that he's got a bigger army than the other government and wanting to take over some territory. No. According to these people, it's only about global warming. And I guess the Germans went through they couldn't grow their crops back in that day. So therefore, Hitler comes around and says, well, the Germans have got to stop starving, so I'm going to be the German leader. Nazism, Heil Hitler, we're going to go around, we're going to defeat every other country on the planet, And what do you think Hitler's saying? Is it Jesus Christ that did it? No. Do you think Hitler was running around saying, I'm the best? Yeah, that's what he was doing. But these people think it was due to global warming. I kid you not. 1941.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And we are back, toll free 603-835-3224. Want to remind you, first of all, this is a short week, so we're not on the air for Thursday and Friday. Happy Thanksgiving. It will be best of shows those 2 days, Thursday and Friday, and back here next Monday after that. But also, don't forget, we're coming towards the end of the year 2015. So after we get back from the Thanksgiving break, we've got roughly about a month, but there isn't a month worth of shows left. But fear not, because that first week back in January is when we will be expanding to 3-hour format and going to the morning, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time, same batch. Check your... if you're listening to this other than on the main network of Spreaker, powered by Zinc Media, then check your list. Also, you're going to want to check your list. Maybe, I know some of our syndicated broadcasters are switching as well from playing this from a replay to picking it up live in January for 3 hours. That is going to be so exciting, folks. I am tickled pink about being able to grow the show for 3 hours, because as you can see, I got plenty to talk about. And the wonderful people down in Washington, D.C., and the wonderful liberals all across the country do not make things, how shall I put this? I'm never short of material because of them. Pretty much, yes. I never have to worry about not having enough stuff to talk about, because I could probably do a full 8-hour show. This could be a full-time job, if you know what I'm saying. 8 hours a day. Hour lunch in between, but 8 hours a day. Every single day I could probably talk for 8 hours because of what our government and liberals are doing and saying. It's that chock full. So 3 hours is better. You know, it's 50% better than. Actually, it's 33% better than. Well, no, it's 50% better than 2 hours. Another hour added on to 2 hours, that's 50. The show is growing 50% to how you can throw those numbers around. Yeah, the show has grown 50%. Really? Yeah, we went from 2 hours to 3 hours. Think about it. Show. An hour. Well, what is half of 2 hours? 50% of 2 hours is what? 1 hour. 3 hours. Now, what is 50% to 3 hours? Adding. That's a little bit different. Not an hour. It's an hour and a half. So you can see how you can manipulate numbers that way. And hey, this is what liberals in our government does on a daily basis to us. They manipulate numbers to make them sound better, whichever way they want them to sound. Better or worse. If they're trying to take away your freedom, they want to make the numbers sound worse. If they're trying to say why they're doing so well for you, they're going to try to make them sound better. And this is how they do that. A 50% increase of 2 hours is 1 hour, so that gives you a 3-hour show. But a 50% increase of a 3-hour program, not an hour, it's an hour and a half. So that means you're going to have a 4.5-hour show. But both are 50%, right? Yeah, but one 50% is bigger than the other. So, you really got to pay attention to how they're manipulating the numbers and manipulating what they're talking about. Just like you're not hearing this stuff from any U.S.-based media. I didn't hear any of this. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear any of this today that I got for you from Daily Mail. DailyMail.co.uk. A campus zealots. I mean, this. I warned people that this was going to happen. I warned you, and now it's happening. And let me just describe this young. This is about a 19-year-old young man. Now, how can you do? He's got this cute apple pie. He's not a redhead, but, well, you know what I'm talking about. But he's got this kind of, remember Ron Howard during his Happy Day years? All-American apple pie face, right? I remember people saying that Ron Howard had an American apple pie face. Now, I don't know if that meant he was cute or not cute. He had that very innocent, not manly look about him. American is apple, the boy next door type of thing. Well, this kid, who's 19 years old by the name of Greg Lawler, has that similar look. He's got this absolutely unmasculine, non-masculine, he's skinny as a lark. I guess some girls might think he's cute, fine. But, he's if you look at him, you wouldn't say that he's manly. I'm sorry, you wouldn't. But he looks like he's a real sweet, nice young man at 19. Nothing masculine about him. There's nothing aggressive looking about him at all. Nothing. You'll see what I mean when I post a picture. Anyway. Campus zealots hound the student out of lectures and bars. I don't know. He's 19. I don't know what's he doing. What's he doing in a bar? Lectures and bars with shouts of rapists after he dared to question the effectiveness of rape consent workshops. Those workshops, because now they're trying to say that if the man is drunk and the woman's drunk and they have sex, so the man's committed rape. Right. So if they're both drunk and they both agree to do this act, birds and the bees, acting like wild mammals, then the man's committed rape. And he should be arrested and charged as a... Because they were both drunk. Man's drunk, woman's drunk. Man's fault, not the woman. Now, Greg Lawler, who is 19, he was driven out of lectures and bars with shouts of rapist. Now, the university student questioned the effectiveness of consent workshops. He now fears for his future at Warwick University after being ostracized. Mr. Lawler fears the furor will affect his academic work and future career. His future career is now in jeopardy because he had the gall to question the effectiveness of rape consent workshops. Now, second year George Lawler, 19, fears for his future at Warwick University. Writing in a blog, he argued that the overwhelming majority of people don't have to be taught to not be a racist. Hey, we're going to teach you not to be a rapist. Well, the overwhelming majority of people taught not to be. I guess they do now because, hey, if you're both drunk, then, hey, guys. Now, how does that work? Let me just, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You knew I would. Now, with that reasoning, now, stay with me here, folks. Don't wig out or anything, but just stay with me. Now, what these so-called feminists are saying with this is that if both members who agree to have sex are both drunk when they do so, then the female could not possibly give consent. Therefore, the man has committed rape. Again, they're both drunk. I don't know how I can emphasize that anymore. They're both inebriated. They both have too much to drink. Even if the man is drunker than the woman, the man is the one that commits the rape. So here's the question. What if you have two drunk females that decide to have sex? Well, they're drunk. Well, maybe one of them isn't a lesbian, but the other one is, she's just, what is the term? bi-curious. But they're drunk, so now her inhibitions are down, so now she kind of agrees. Well, if the other woman acts like a man, is she the rapist then? Or let's take it the other way. Let's have two guys. Two gay men. They're drunk. Both of them. Trashed. Now, is it going to depend on whose house or apartment that they go, whose domicile that they go to in order to determine who's the rapist? So if the person who actually lives at the domicile is, they're both gay now, remember, is drunk, and the invited guest is drunk, so I'm guessing the invited guest is going to be the one that committed the rape, or are you going to say that they raped each other because they're both men? I'm just trying to follow the logic trail here, folks. You see how stupid this is? You're automatically placing the blame on the male. Well, what if the male is like this George? I don't know what this kid from, just based on his looks and the way he's holding a picture. And he's not a very masculine young man, but evidently he's British, so that really doesn't mean anything. Whatever. In any case, he's writing in his blog, he argued that overwhelming majority of people don't have to be taught not to be a rapist, and that men inclined to commit the crime would be unlikely to attend such a workshop in the first place. He added that he found his invitation to one of the sessions incredibly hurtful. See, that's what I mean by not. If somebody were to send me an invitation to go to one of these stupid lectures, I wouldn't be hurt by it. I'd be a man and be pissed about it. Because you're automatically assuming that I'm the rapist. I'd be going into that lecture for armed to bear, man. I'd be a bear. Urgh. I wouldn't be, oh man, that hurts my feelings. How could they possibly think that way? No, I'm going to write about it. I'm going to blog about it. No. I'm not even going to rip the invitation up. I'm going to bring it to the lecture, go up to the front, rip it in front of everybody, and start pointing out how all of them are sexist. Not racist, sexist. Just to assume that simply because the man is supposed, hey, man can't be responsible for everything, right? Isn't it? I think it's kind of interesting how the left is saying, well, the man has got to be more like a woman. Bring out their feminine side and blah, blah. And they do that. Now the men are wimpy, mamby-pamby. So when men decide to say, well, maybe I need to be a little bit more forward. And the man gets to be a little bit more forward. Now he's a rapist. What the hell is going on? This is not how you propagate the species, by the way. I don't know. Look, I don't know if this is what is it? There are movies about, there was a TV show, Logan's Run, where everything was artificial and nobody had sex. It was all artificial insemination. Well, yeah, supposedly nobody had sex, but you weren't supposed to have sex. It was all artificial insemination. Sex was just, is that where we're headed? Because sex to these feminazis is just nasty. Hey, yeah, there are those who believe, and they believe in their heart, these feminazis who believe in their heart that anytime a man has a sex with a woman, it's rape. They're both sober. She's married to him even. It's their wedding night. They want to consummate the marriage. And the woman's the aggressor. The woman's on top of the guy, stripping, ripping his clothes off and jumping up and down on him. The man's still the rape. Every time a man has sex with a woman, it's rape. According to some. I kid you not. And so now don't ignore this, folks. We've been ignoring this kind of academia stuff for far too long, and now look what's happening on the racial end. Now we got a bunch of pampered, mamby-pamby, 25-year-olds who feel, bullied feel oppressed. And now they're out there talking about, well, free speech is only for those who agree with us. Well, that's not, well, let me lighten you a little bit. That's not free speech. Anyway, poor George. He says, but in the latest example of politically correct intolerance in universities, the student faced a fierce backlash from radical feminists. He was attacked on Twitter and Facebook by student activists branding him a rapist and a misogynist. Now, Mr. Lawler, who studies politics and sociology, fears the furor will affect his academic work and his future career. Mr. Lawler, if you do not become a staunch conservative, you are a fool. I'm just saying. Now, the abuse was so bad, he says, that he stopped going to lectures. Now, he told the Daily Mail, I was expecting a reaction, but I was not prepared for just how horrible. Well, Mr. Lawler, you have just learned the number one fact of liberalism. You cannot question them. Ever. Never. For if you question them today, you will be branded and labeled as a sexist, homophobic, rapist, bigoted. You will, if you question them. That's exactly how they will brand you. And they will scream it, and they will yell at you, and they will chase you down, and they will berate you, they will libel you, and dare you to try to sue them. Because, hey, it's all about their freedom of expression and freedom of speech. But you, sir, do not get the same. You do not get freedom of expression and freedom of speech. Because you are a misogynist. Because they said so simply because you question the effectiveness of the class. It does not matter if the lectures actually work. I had somebody today tell me about Bernie Sanders and what Bernie Sanders wants to do. I said, it does not work. And they said, it's all about the appearance of Mr. Sanders. He cares. He wants to do something. Well, feelings have nothing to do with policy. But this is how these people operate. Mr. Lawler, you're 19 years old and have just learned a very, very, very adult lesson. You do not mess with the feminist unless you're ready to do battle. And you, sir, obviously are not man enough to do battle with these people. Because, a masculine man would probably look at these feminists who are probably butch dyke lesbians. And, hey, if he would have stood toe-to-toe with them, they probably would have went to fisticuffs. And knowing some lesbians from around here, some of them are more manly than some of the men I know. Probably would have kicked his butt. But you've learned a very valuable lesson. And I hope this lesson makes you a full-fledged conservative, because if it doesn't, you have no brain, sir. None. I don't know why I'm calling this 19-year-old kid. Not an officer in the military. He's not a sir. He's a kid. But he's learning some valuable Now, let's just see if he actually takes heed of those. I don't know if he will, but... Now, he posed for a picture. I don't know if it's gone viral, but he posed with a picture. He posed for a picture with a handwritten sign on his notebook that says, "This is not what a rapist looks like." Well, I don't know exactly what it looks like, but yeah, I'm not going to put him in the likes of other people. He's just too apple pie-ish. Apple pie face-ish. Might as well be a red. He's got auburn hair, I guess. What is that hair color? Lots of. It's actually, on a I'm not really into blondes. Just for those of you who don't know, my ex-wife is English and Swedish descent. She's a blonde. I know people are going to be out there, well, but what was he? What is he like? Yeah. Was he out there? I know. Hey, yeah. We had. Well, I guess, I guess by standards. Remember, if you have sex with the woman can never consent. Never, ever. Feminist. And and the funny thing is you got some guys out there agreeing with him. Feminine, wimpy, emasculated men are males, I should say, running around these college campuses, and they're saying, yeah, that's just, men are just evil, and that's just rape. Well, at least if you have heterosexual sex, because no woman really wants to have sex. I don't know if that means that they only want to have sex with a woman. I guess there is, but if the act of the rape is the actual penetration, then what if two women are doing that? I'm just asking the question. I'm trying to figure these people out. I know it's a near impossibility, but that's why I'm here. I'm the one that's supposed to get the brain ache, so I'm the one that figures this out, so I can tell you about it, so you don't have to suffer brain aches. Because let me tell you something. You don't want a brain ache. They're worse than migraines. I know some people are saying, well, isn't that a headache? No, a brain ache is not a headache. You do not want a brain ache because you can't take any medicine for that. There's no Excedrin PM or Nidol or whatever. There's nothing. You've got to get through it. I'm telling you, I'm falling on the sword for you here. I'm the one that risked the brain ache, so you don't have to worry about it and do that, because these people drive you insane if you're not trained how to handle them. And because I am such a staunch, politically incorrect conservative, I know how to beat them back with, you could tie both hands behind my back and I'd still crush them. Be like me playing badminton with the racket in my mouth. I'd still kill them. Well, not literally, but crush them. Defeat them. Yeah, because I've learned all about these people. By the way, speaking of learning all about these people, AP, I saw something. I know there are some people that probably wish this would happen here in the United States, but looks like Russia's ahead of the curve in something else, in religion, and it's not about the Muslim thing. This is pretty interesting. Of what I could say Putin wanted this done. I don't know, but Russia has moved against a church, not necessarily a religion. I guess it depends on who you are, but they've moved against a church in Russia. I got to tell you, it's surprising, but kind of glad that they did. You know what? We'll get into it when we get back. I promise. Stick around.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Just so you know, there's a report out that says 90% of all disasters are weather-related. Just so you know. But first, in Russia, as promised. Oh, by the way, this is thank you for joining us here. This is all of my fellow liberty lovers and ecclesiastites. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live once again for hour number 2, fastest 2 hours on internet talk radio, right here on the Rod Eccles Show, somewhere within the great grand estate of New Hampshire, where I'm broadcasting from in my bunkerized home studio, where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call this evening is toll-free 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. Of course, you can or just sit back and relax. And I got an angry. Well, what do they call them? Not emails. When you a private message on Facebook. That's it. I got an angry. You see, I posted a picture on the fan. I think it was a fan page about a cigar. I happen to like cigars. I'm a cigar. Well, I'm not an upper crust cigar. I know that there are nuances that I just haven't enjoyment of cigars because I don't really care about that new. I know what kind of cigars that I like. And I just enjoy smoking them and tasting them and enjoying being alive with one. It doesn't have to be. It could be a $20 cigar. I think the most expensive stick that I've ever purchased was But I have had, it was given to me, I've had a $35 stick. Well, it's only about $35 here in the United States, if you can get it. Bought in from Canada. So it wasn't $35, but I've seen them here. It wasn't a real Cubano. I have had a real Cuban. Well, a real Cuban. It wasn't 30. Seen them. For about $35. At least not. Well, maybe someday, if I'm a millionaire or something, I won't think. I think a $20, $21 stick for special occasions is, and for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda, a stick is what we cigar folk call a cigar, a single cigar. We call it. For special occasions, I'll spend $20. Oh, I'll buy a few. $40 or $50 or $60 for, once in a while. It's not. It's like going out or something. You can go and spend money when you go out, so why can't you spend it on a good smoke? But anyway, I had posted something about cigars. And the nasty I'm surprised that they didn't post it out there in public, saying that I shouldn't promote such cancer-promoting and unhealthy and disgusting habits. And she was disgusted that I had such a disgusting habit. And I, of course, refrained from immediately responding because I wanted to be, witty and thoughtful and all that kind of stuff. And all I could come up with, I am sorry that you are more disgusting than I, for being so alienated about another person's hobby, which really cannot possibly give you. In which case, it would be my pleasure to would do only what you say, but thus I just let it go. A good scotch. Well, you don't drink vodka straight up. I suppose you could. That'd be a good scotch. And I know you shouldn't be on the. I like scotch on the rock. To me, that's just enjoying. To me, that's enjoying life. Having a good conversation. Lounge could be, my house. It doesn't matter. Having a friend or two who also enjoys a good stick and good to me. Still men do. I know there's something about a woman that smokes a cigar that isn't a turnoff. It's not. I mean, smoking the backwoods stuff. Kind of cute for a woman every once in a while smokes a cigar. The dichotomy there is just so beautiful. Because I don't care if you agree with me or not. Cigars are a very masculine-looking thing, and when you have a dainty woman, chomping on a masculine cigar, there is a dichotomy there that is just absolutely beautiful. And if you're thinking of something else, all I'm going to say is get your butter, because it's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real cigar here, folks. I got to cover all bases because people they're going to take things out. Look, they put words in the Donald Trump's mouth, so I'm sure they're going to be putting words in my mouth. So I have to be ultimately, very clear. Anyway, so this, I don't know if she's still a fan or not, but she was rather upset that I'm going to post about whatever the hell I want to post about. Just so you know. Look, it's not just one of the things you cannot say about the show. This is not just a political program. It is a political, current event, and pop culture program. I cover a wide range of stuff. Yes, recently the majority of stuff has been politically based, but I cover a whole range of stuff. Plain and simple. It keeps it interesting. Who else covers, because all of those three things, they interact with one another. They really do. They affect and effect how we live our daily lives. And this is stuff that you do it this way. Getting to hosted, H-O-S, hosted.ap.org. So AP has a story. AP, the Associated Press, has a story. Out of Russia. Ruskies, Putinland. It is, if you could get away with calling it Putin. President Putin of Putinland. Russian church, Russian court has ordered Russian church, but not Russian church, to shut down, to dissolve it itself. That's right. This is something that Leah Remini is going to love. Those of you who know, King of Queens, wife of James. Big guy. Been in a few movies, too. Paul Blart, Mall Cop, I think is... Well, he did a little TV show. King of Queens. Some people are thinking, what? Well, he lived in Queens, New York. That was the king of his own little castle, kind of like a modern day honeymooners. And Leah Remini, who's a pretty girl, she's very... Pretty girl. Pretty well. Once in this so-called... And if you've paid attention, she's written a couple of books. She has been very vocal and outspoken against this cult, is what she calls it. And now the Russian court. You can say, Putin was a part of it or Putin wasn't not a part. It doesn't matter. But look, the Russians are not very accepting of Islam either. By the way, I must say, as a matter of fact, if it weren't for Putin, who isn't a friend of Islam at all, by the way, they would have law because the Orthodox Church, the Orthodox Christian Church, is very powerful in Russia again. Ever since the Iron Curtain came down, those people, they've regained a lot of power, and they're not going to let it go this time. They're not going to let it go. Those bishops, I don't know what they call it. The Russian Orthodox Church, those people, they're serious about their religion. And they have labeled this church a cult. So a Russian court has ordered the Church of Scientology in Moscow, Russia, to be dissolved. The Moscow City Court on Monday accepted arguments from the Justice Ministry that the term Scientology is trademarked and thus cannot be considered a religious organization covered by the Constitution's Freedom of Religious Clause. Prosecutors also said the church carried out activities in St. Petersburg, though it was only authorized to operate in Moscow. Several books by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard are banned in Russia for extremist content. A church representative said the decision would be appealed, although the appealing process in Russia doesn't look good. All this is reported by the Russian news agency TASS. Well, like I said, Leah Remini would she'd be relishing in this news if I'm sure she knows about it. Look, Tom Cruise is the big notable star of Scientology. Used to be John Travolta. But, he's sort of, I don't know, I think he's still involved, but it just seems like he's sort of disappeared out of the Church of Scientology. Tom Cruise is still, he's the big kahuna of it still. He's a weird man. Those of you who don't know, Tom only about his real height is about. You know that Tom Cruise could have played one of the Lord of the Rings, because they were all like 7, 5'6", 5'5". They're all short guys. Elijah Wood's only like 5'6", 5'5", 5'. Really a little guy. He's like Kevin Hart, the black comedian. He's hilarious. He's like 5'5" too. He's real tiny. So Tom Cruise isn't all that much bigger. I mean, he looks bigger on the screen, but the man really, his real height is, look at him standing when he used to stand next to Nicole Kidman, who isn't 6 feet tall. But she looks like she was about a foot taller than Cruise whenever they were standing next to each other. And it wasn't high heels, it's because he's only 5'7". Like Sylvester Stallone is only 5'8". Look, Hollywood lies to us all the time. They put forth this false front. Now, it's one thing to do it in the movie. That's different. But when they carry that over into their so-called real life, and they make them appear bigger and stronger and faster and more powerful than they actually are, that is not reality. That's not moviedom. That's lying to the people. Our government's very good at doing that. They take their cue after Hollywood, or does Hollywood take its cue after the government? Life imitating art, or is it art imitating life? You're probably saying, well, who cares? Well, it means a lot when you have people who are being lied to, but they think it's the truth. And then when you tell them the truth and show them the truth and prove the truth to them, they still won't believe it. That's the whole point of propaganda and all the lies that governments tell their people. Because if you tell a lie and make it big enough, and you tell it over and over again, over a long period of time, then it will not matter. One of Alinsky's rules for radicals, it will not matter if somebody gives them the truth, they will not believe it. So if people are lied to and told for the past 20 years that Tom Cruise is 6 feet tall, and then there is absolute pictorial proof that he's against the wall in a lineup, at a police station that shows he's only 5'7", people are not going to believe it. They're going to say it's a trick photography or the measurements are off because Tom Cruise is 6 feet tall. Look, they did it with remember when Justin Bieber got arrested? They're still lying and saying Justin Bieber's 5'10". Justin Bieber is not 5'10". But you tell the lie long enough, and if he can pull off looking like it, then people are going to believe it. Was it I think I saw it. Yeah, Justin Bieber is at 5'10", 175 pounds. I'm like, what? No. Hey, he's put on all that muscle, right? Out and everything. No, I don't think they say Tom Cruise is 6 foot, but I think that he's around. They sort of make him seem like he's like 5'11". Same with Sylvester Stallone, 5'11". I think some of the stuff that has been out there, Sylvester Stallone's like 5'11". He's not. He's 5'8". Tom Cruise is 5'7". It's a lie otherwise. And you cannot tell somebody who's been lied to for so long and believes that lie, you cannot tell them the truth and have them believe it. That's, you try telling people that Scientology is a cult and they do brainwashing, and there are people that say, no, it's L. Ron Hubbard. No, let me tell you, L. Ron Hubbard, he basically created Scientology on a dare and a bet. He was a failed author, which is really kind of... The man was a nut. But he used to run around because he was an atheist, and he used to say, I could invent a religion and millions of people would follow it. And then one day he actually decided to do it. That's how we got... Scientology is a mid-20th century invention of a science fiction and fantasy writer. Do people know? You try telling some people that, and because they've been lied to, kind of like Mormons and Islam. Not saying the two are the same. Mormons are pretty harmless. At least not literally. They may do that figuratively through, the shunning process if you don't. Amish, the shunning process, whatever. But they had, there was this one heathenistic person, devilish man, yeah. They are the prophet. God came down and turned them into a prophet, and they wrote all this, God gave them. Right, bingo, bang, new religion, Islam happened. And it's isn't it kind of convenient that Muhammad was the last prophet? The most important prophet and the last one. And nobody else after him could ever be construed as a prophet. Nope. Whatever Muhammad said goes forever. Think about that. But you try pointing out the truth. Literally. Often enough, over a extended period of time, people will. I don't. All I care about is the truth. The truth is, Putin says he's visiting Tehran right now. And he says that he will continue to bomb ISIS until he feels that they have been for bombing and downing of the Russian airline. Probably never will. And something when we come back from the break, something about Bernie Sanders. You won't believe what he says about Hillary Clinton. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
Eccles Show.
603-835-3224. Hey, again, something else I said that was going to happen is coming to pass. I am really good at this predicting stuff. Prestidigitation is magic, but I'm prediction stuff. I should probably have a tent. Fortune telling, I'd probably be very good at it. This from a CBS local station. Remember, well, they call him Clock Kid. Remember Clock Boy? Yeah. The Arabic kid, Arabic kid that took a clock, if you will, in a briefcase to school and showed people. And everybody thought it was a briefcase bomb because that's what it looked like without the explosives. And, he was arrested and blah, blah. Big hullabaloo. Well, I said that the way things were going, what was going to happen was, what's going to happen is, or what happened was, is that his family was going to sue. It was the way they did things and the way they ended things and the way it was all set up. And this kid went on a Middle Eastern hero tour, and the president called him, and he went to the White House. I said he was going to end up suing. Well, the Clock Boy, not Clock Kid, the Clock Boy, his family is demanding an apology and $15 million in damage. Now, remember, leaving the U.S., they're moving to the middle, back to, well, his dad's from the Middle East, but his dad's also moving back to the Middle East. I'm telling you, it was a dry run. This was not this kid behind this. I guarantee you. But attorneys representing Ahmed Mohammed and his family want an apology and $15 million in damages after his arrest in September. A former MacArthur High School freshman was accused of bringing an item that looked like a bomb to school. It turned out to be a clock. Well, there's clocks in these bombs, by the way. Now, the attorneys have sent letters to both the city of Irving and Irving ISD demanding $10 million and $5 million, respectively, for the way the incident was handled earlier this year. The claim, 14-year-old Ahmed Mohammed has suffered severe damages as a result of his interrogation and arrest at the school. They also point the finger at Irving's police chief and mayor for the way they portrayed Ahmed to the media once the story gained international interest. So the kid goes on a Middle Eastern hero celebrity tour. He gets to hang out with the president at the White House, and we're supposed to believe that he suffered? Oh, this poor, innocent little child. This kid wasn't innocent. He knew what he was doing. Poor, innocent child. Oh, they scarred him for life, arresting him and inquisiting him repeatedly over something that was obviously a clock, even though the clock looked like a... There was clearly no explosives in there, although a lot of times, these explosives. But in any case, he had no intent of making it believed to be a bomb, even though he walked around showing people and said, look what I did, and trying to arouse them. And finally, when the teacher finally was aroused, he didn't correct the teacher at all. But now he's so harmed, and he needs reparations of $15 million in order to make him whole again, so he can live his life in luxury somewhere in the Middle East. while going to a Muslim school to learn how to become a real jihadi and make a real briefcase bomb, where I'm sure by the time that he is 24 years old, he'll want to see his 70 virgins, and he'll gladly carry that real briefcase bomb into any place that will, where damage will be catastrophic, where he will be off to paradise with his father's blessing. Get him, my son. All 70 are yours. Folks, I told you that's what this is about. It went on and on and on and on and on. So he's suing for $15 million. Yeah, that's... Yeah, but, well, he's suing the city and the school district, so that's taxpayer money. Now on to Bernie Sanders. What does Bernie Sanders say? Well, Bernie Sanders is not from the South. He's not from the South, but he's tired of hearing about her damn emails. That's what it says here from Hot Air. Bernie Sanders is tired of hearing about Hillary Clinton's damn emails, at least when he's on the same stage with her and has to look her in the eye. At other times, Sanders is happy to have the media doing his dirty work for him. The same goes for Clinton's tax plan, it seems. Sanders doesn't tend to go after her very hard when he's standing at the podium next to her. But he'll talk all sorts of trash about her ideas to a reporter. That was the case this week when one of his spokespersons delivered the lowest, dirtiest, cruelest insult in the Democrats' arsenal. I mean, this was these were fighting words. I mean, put up the fist and let's get the fisticuffs, baby, because these words that Bernie Sanders said about Hillary Clinton, people have gotten nuked for less than this. Yes, I'm referring to that awful, unforgivable sin of hatred by saying or implying that Hillary's ideas are reminiscent of the GOP. Exactly what happened. A senior aide to Senator Bernie Sanders on Sunday characterized Hillary Clinton's latest tax plan as tentative half steps that sound Republican light, escalating the sparring between the Democratic presidential campaigns over their respective commitments to helping the middle class. Now, I got to tell you, this is pushing you folks who think Bernie Sanders is a socialist. He's not. He's a Democratic communist. In other words, he has no problem using the democratic process to get elected. But once he's elected, he's going to institute communistic type of ideas. He's going to try to. He's a communist. And when you possibly could even think about considering that Hillary Clinton's ideas are akin to being a moderate Republican, basically Republican light, moderate Republican. If you're saying she's a Republican, a moderate, then you have got to be further to the left than a socialist. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Well, I'm not sorry, that's the truth. Those of you who just love Bernie Sanders, and I know a few people that just love Bernie Sanders. They love him. I got to tell you, Bernie's a dangerous man. He's not necessarily dangerous, but his ideas are very dangerous. As they say here in New England, they're wicked dangerous. But you might as well be a communist. Well, yeah. Let me just. If we had the McCarthy era of the 50s and the 60s, the commie scare, the pinko fascist, Bernie would not get very far. He'd probably still be in jail. But the notion that Bernie is for the little person, the middle class. Look, Bernie's out there talking about, kind of like Hillary, talking about a $15 minimum wage. All the while, they're not practicing what they're preaching. They're paying, people in their staff $11 and $12 an hour. They are. I met this one young college kid in Manchester, New Hampshire, working for the Hillary campaign. Oh, well, how's that going for you? And he's all excited about her. Oh yeah, I mean she's for this and for this and for this. And I looked at him and said, "Oh well, work for her full time, yes? Yeah, that's my full time job right now. I work for her campaign." Oh, well, that must be nice. You're making good money. And he's like, "No." I work long hours. Oh, but you do that because you want to, so your salary. No, you're not on salary. You're on hourly. Kind of, sort of, but not really. Let me tell you, it was for almost torture trying to get this kid nailed down. 22 years old. Total Hillary fan. Okay. So you're still in college. Yeah, but I put it on. I'm like on this internship with Hillary, her campaign, because I'm in marketing and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, so you got an internship, so that's why you're making less than what a full-time non-intern person. No, I'm making what other people are making who aren't interns. Oh, so you're making a good living then, I guess, for now. What do you work maybe 50 hours a week? Because no, yeah, really. Not hourly. I'm paid for doing a certain amount of work and so many hours, and I'm supposed to work those hours. So your full time is supposed. I'm asking your full time. Well, yeah, 35 hours a week. That's all her campaign. Wait. You're working 35 hours a week. That's what you're contracted to do. Let's be honest. You're being contracted to work 35 hours. You work 7 days a week, which means you're working 80 or 90 or 100 hours every week. Yes? And on that contracted 35 hours a week, you're making $12 an hour. But isn't your candidate out there telling us that we need to have a $15 an hour minimum wage? Healthcare. Because he's not getting the $15 an hour that she is out there touting that business pays. Bernie Sanders is the same way. There are people in his campaign that are making $11, $12 an hour, while he's out there touting, "Oh well, these people got to be paid $15 an hour. That's minimum wage." And then he's out there. Then he also gets out there and trashes startup sharing companies like Lyft and Uber. Did you know that Bernie Sanders, during his campaign, whenever it's available in the area that he's in, only takes Uber? His campaign records prove it. He trashes Uber, but he uses it. Now, these people are nothing but big time hypocrites that are not in it for you or me, the middle class. But they have said this lie so often, and the lie is so big, that even when you present the facts, Bernie Sanders is for $15 an hour. He doesn't even pay his own people $15 an hour. But he's for the middle class, but he doesn't pay his people. But he wants people to have $15 an hour. But he's not paying his own people $15 an hour. What don't you get? But they'll still support him. Well, Bernie Sanders is for the middle class. So you got all these middle class people trying to stay in the middle class, and they are participating in this new, what we call sharing economy, like, Airbnb and Uber and Lyft and what's a DoorDash, a delivery company. And he trashes them to hell. says they need to be heavily and overly regulated, but he uses them. And you wonder why. I tell you, you do not want to have to go through this on a daily brain ache. This is why I'm telling you, you will get a brain ache. Because you will sit there and you will rack your head, you will bang it up against the wall because you're saying, but Rod, he says he's for $15 an hour, but he's not paying $15 an hour. Because let me give it to you straight. Because the reason why Hillary and Bernie are not paying their own employees $15 an hour, it's simply because the government doesn't make them do it. So left to their own devices, even though they say it's the right thing to do, they're not willing to do the right thing unless they're told to by the government. The government isn't telling them that they have to pay $15 an hour. So they're not going to do it, even though they say it's the right thing to do. Now, I'm sorry, but I don't know how you can support hypocrites like that. If you don't want to call them, either they're hypocrites or they're just out and out liars. They don't believe a damn thing that they're telling you. Yeah, the sharing economy, it needs to be regular because everybody's being taken advantage of. I mean, look, everybody's being taken advantage of. Everybody's being taken damn advantage of. But that's exactly what you use, Mr. Sanders. I think the Uber and Lyft drivers are being taken advantage of, but that's who you use. You use them. And you don't give tips. Been reports about that, too. Remember when Hillary Clinton, where did she go? She went into a Chipotle, right? Didn't leave a tip. Leave a tip. SUV tour. Yeah, don't forget, the SUVs are they're eating on the environment. Terrible. Al Gore's out there. Yeah, hey, all this climate change. Like Obama. We got all this climate change going on around here. We got to stop this climate change. Yeah, this is the same guy that sent Air Force One on a 3-hour flight for a photo op. Nobody aboard except the pilot. This is something that costs like $200,000 an hour to operate. So roughly $600,000 for a photo opportunity. Remember that? I think it was the first year he was in office. He did that. Remember that? People thought, oh no! Look at this plane running around. It's flying low and around the buildings. Oh my God! It's another, terrorist attack. Air Force One on a photo op. Wasn't even aboard. He was back in the Oval Office. I don't know where it is. All right. President of the United States doesn't even know where his own aircraft is. I don't know. I didn't tell him to go. Hey, what if he needed it? Yeah, President can't not. That plane does not leave. It doesn't even get started, let alone leave the place that it's parked, unless the president knows about it and gives the okay. But yeah, as we've seen, since then, the guy's flying all over the place. I mean, he's even spent, $3 million on a couple of golf trips. It's something that the left would have totally eviscerated George W. Bush if he would even have thought of doing that. You got Al Gore flying around all over the place and then riding in limousines talking about global climate change from all of this carbon, and he's spewing more of it than anybody else. And all these wonderful, wonderful UN people who want to talk about, every year they got to meet in some exotic locale. They can't use things like Skype to do online conferences. No, they got to go to exotic locales that are beautiful, out of the way, and fly in all of these jets so they can talk about global climate change due to CO2 levels when they're out there spewing more CO2 than anybody else on the planet. And then they run around and they complain and blame World War II on climate change back in the 1930s. Then they pull that same play out of that old dusty playbook, and John Kerry reads it and says, hey, that's what's happening in the Middle East right now. It's not because of religious differences or radicalism or evil people down there. Oh, no. The reason why the ISIS is out there fighting the Syrians isn't because of political and religious differences. No, it's because of climate change. And then we come back to the United States where we have two candidates on the left who are both screaming their heads off, saying that the American federal government needs to raise the national minimum wage to $15 an hour, and they won't even pay some of their own people that amount. And yet, all of these people still have their supporters. Even after I just pointed out why they're hypocrites and liars and bigots and fascists and racists, and yet these people will still support them because the lies were big enough and bold enough and told long enough that there is no amount of truth that is going to shake their beliefs. It's like they've been brainwashed like the Church of Scientology. And these people on the left have got their tentacles around the American people's left, their throat. They've got their hands around their throat and they won't let. It's kind of like The Simpsons, where Papa Simpson is always choking Bart. In this particular case, these people get choked out. They come to and say, more, please. We want more. More choking. I know there's the whole saying, you can't fix stupid. This isn't stupid. This is worse. This is blind obedience that was brought about by the ultimate in lies. And we still have those lies being told today. Only thing that we can do to counteract these lies, is eventually some of them are going to break their fog and turn on their logical thinking brain, and they're going to look back and think, oh my God, I'm awake now, but I was such a... It's happening, folks. It's happening now. So we got to keep it up. Because stupid is as stupid does for sure, but those who've been brainwashed can be unbrainwashed. It happens all the time. People get out of Scientology, they can get out of liberalism. I promise you that. Out of time for today. See you tomorrow. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.